And so this video begins. 116th and Broadway, Columbia University, New York City. Who you gonna call? I'm Tampa J. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. I present to you the 40th anniversary of the filming locations, New York City and Los Angeles, the filming locations to Ghostbusters, my all-time favorite movie. This is my copy. I watched more than any other version or copy of Ghostbusters here on VHS. I put it right here and brought it with me to New York. New York City and Los Angeles, all in the same video. This may be the first time many of these locations have been together on video. I am so grateful for this opportunity to hunt down the locations with you guys to my all-time favorite movie. 40 years ago, the Ghostbusters began right here at the first filming location at Columbia University. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's run some red lights. There's much ahead. Also today with me, I have the Tobin Spirit Guide, written by Ray Stantz, Dr. Egon Spangler, and Eric Burnham. Just in case we encounter some ghosts, we can look them up, and I know we will encounter some ghosts today. And for the very first filming location, we come to 116th and Broadway, way up on Manhattan. Actually, right through there is 116th and Broadway. Columbia University, where the Ghostbusters began. The spot right behind me, the first location. Through this video, I will show you the then and now. I will put a screenshot of what it looked like in the movie and compare the location to what it looks like today. That's the fun part. And the opening credits of Ghostbusters, after the opening library scene, you see the alma mater of Columbia University and the words Ghostbusters above the head. This isn't the angle, I'll move up in a second. But I just wanted to show you. This should look very familiar to you. All right, I'm gonna create the opening shot. I'm gonna zoom in and put the screenshot in the lower right-hand corner as I frame it up as it was in the beginning of Ghostbusters. And the screenshot now in frame. Just see the upper half of the shoulders and the head. And that's where you see Ghostbusters for the first time on screen in words. It's so awesome. Columbia University, a lot of people graduating today. Taking pictures with the alma mater right now. Congratulations. And we just left the steps right up here. There's the alma mater right up here. Up these steps, specifically at the top on this pedestal, that is where Bill Murray is laying. And here's the screenshot. This is the scene I'm talking about. This is when it begins. Notice you can see the fountain down the steps to the left. You can see the steps we were just climbing on, the alma mater, right behind Bill Murray, as he's laying right here. Little interference with the rail, but I'm sticking my camera through the fence to give you a better matchup. A little closer to the camera angle as you see Bill laying there. Ray talking to Venkman about starting the Ghostbusters, or Venkman convincing Ray. A really good close-up of Bill with the library behind him, and also a building to the left with a steeple. Still here today. Look at this. This fountain, or this lamppost right here, this right there, is just in front of Bill's head. It's a really cool matchup. And then Bill gets down. He places his hand on a whiskey bottle that in this screenshot, check this out. I'll show you exactly where that whiskey bottle was sitting, but everything in the background, the buildings, everything still the same. That whiskey bottle was sitting right here. You can see this ledge kind of jump right below the bottle there in the screenshot. Oh, it's a windy day in New York City. And bear with me, the wind burst here in Manhattan this morning, ferocious. I had to pause for a second. Big wind gusts. I picked the right weekend to do this. As you can see in frame, I'm recreating this shot. Bill was just laying there. They come over here, and this is actually the spot where they decide to go into business for themselves. The next scene, it cuts to the Manhattan Bank. We will go there eventually, and that's where Ray takes out his second or third mortgage. There you go, right here. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. Saturday Night Live. And for the next filming location of Ghostbusters here at Columbia University, we actually have to go behind the library on the back side. This is so awesome because these are the exact same walkways 40 years ago. The establishing shot of this scene, I'm gonna recreate it. It's actually off to the side, but you see students and people walking right through here. And there you go, I'm recreating that shot as you see in the frame, down in the lower right-hand corner. The library to the left. There's some sort of a statue that's no longer, just the base of it. Right straight ahead. Yeah, you see the big pole? The big pole coming out of that green base is gone today. It was there in 1984. I don't know what happened. Ray and Peter come into scene right here on the southeast corner of the library. Actually, if I go right here, it's blocked off today. There was shrubs here back in 1984, but there was a giant like bush right there, a different kind of bush. But if you look at the walkway, the pattern, into frame right now, Ray and Peter walking along this sidewalk. You can make out this building right there in the background. Looks a little different, but this is where they're walking. At first I thought it was on the backside, but it's actually right here, the alma mater, right behind that wall. This is when that scene begins. The walk and talk. Yeah, right here, still a bush. And then they take the corner and head this way. And then Egon slowly coming behind them. He's calculating using the PKA meter. He, in this moment, figures out that he can trap and contain a ghost, and that's what he says to them once he catches up with them. This all matches up today really well. That's so cool. Lower right hand corner. Here's a better shot, close up of Egon. Notice the brick, the pattern of the brick behind him there. It's all the same. The base of that monument still there. And this right here is the spot they stop and all come together. The conversation furthers. There's a sign behind them in this shot, and I believe in the same location, if not the same sign, because behind, out beyond, you can see behind Bill Murray's head, that door, that opening. Let me see if I can tidy this up so you can see. And that matches up perfect. They were stopped right here on the spot. Another cool shot of Bill Murray and these steps of this building right behind him. See those steps right there? Well, those steps, but these three tiers. Just a cool shot. Actually, it's probably more so this way. There you go. And Peter gives Egon the crunch bar right here in this spot. I don't think I could have ever matched up a shot so perfectly because the trees are exactly the same. Everything's the same here at Columbia University. It hasn't changed much in 40 years. This is one of my favorite scenes. You've earned it. Venkman gives Egon the crunch bar. And I love Ray's look here. He's like, I want a crunch bar too. That's the last shot you see before this scene ends. And it goes into the Weaver Hall. You can see the grates of the library behind them. Also some of the same stains. This was a cool spot to track down. I thought it was over here on the backside, but that's part of the fun. You don't know until you get there. I have the screenshots with me on my phone, so that's how I'm able to investigate, determine whether this place is haunted or not. I mean, whether or not they filmed Ghostbusters here or not, I'm sure it's haunted. And I have found Weaver Hall, northwest corner of the library. This is Weaver Hall. Realistically, it's called Havemeyer Hall, or Havemeyer. Gotta back up a little bit so I can get into frame. But this is where the Ghostbusters, this is the Department of Psychology in the Ghostbusters. This is where Dean Yeager fired them, and this is where Peter Venkman in room 205 Alpha, as you see behind them on the door many times in those scenes, this is where he was giving the test with the electric shocks. All right, so there's one exterior shot, establishing shot you see of Weaver Hall, and it's right here from the side. Actually, here, I'm gonna recreate it. The sign in the movie Weaver Hall was placed upon this pedestal. It was actually right there. Check this out. These columns and the lights, all still the same. I'm gonna match it up then and now. Look at that. That's freaking awesome. It's the first time I've been to this location. All right, so I've got access to Weaver Hall. I'm gonna see if there's a 205 Alpha. Okay, obviously these doors look nothing like they did in the movie, and it altogether skips 205. It goes from 206, 204, to 202, and that's it. Burn in Hell, Dr. Egon Spangler stance. Venkman. Kind of looks like the same doors. Don't know if they actually filmed in here, but they may have. 205 has been remodeled. And this will be the northernmost Ghostbusters filming location as far as Manhattan this weekend. Gotta jump on a train and head to the Central Park area. And at the corner of Columbus and Lincoln Street, Lincoln Center. I like to call this scene, Who's the Stiff? Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver. Meeting up here, Bill Murray asking her out on a date, ultimately. Dana Barrett committing. This is awesome. And this is the widest angle you see of this scene right before it ends. The Hotel Empire in the background, the fountain, the lines, the building, Dana Barrett, and her future husband, I have to guess, because I think that's Oscar's dad, the Stiff. I love that line. Who's the Stiff? Bill Murray's hilarious. All right, notice how the fountain wall has changed. It's more open, closed in the movie. There were some balloons, also posters on the wall in the far building. I'm gonna zoom in, check this out. Bill Murray coming right here, just kind of skipping along as the scene progresses. Camera would have been a little back, but I just wanted to show you that the poster cutouts on the wall back there on that building are still there. Because of the pattern of the concrete, I can show you exactly with the screenshot where Bill Murray was skipping along. 1, 2, 3, right here. The third spot. Dana Barrett and her friend, the musician, walk out of that building right there. Bill Murray coming towards them. They meet up right here in this spot before the fountain, before they begin to talk. And this is a great shot to show you with the fountain behind them in the background. Right here in this location. It's so cool. And then the friend kind of goes off and just sits right there. The Stiff. Who's the Stiff? It's a good shot of him. Actually, it's more this way because you can see the Empire Hotel behind him. The brick of it. The corner of it. You see that? Right there. All right, I'll see you Thursday. Sorry I didn't get to meet your friend. He's looking kind of pale though. Bill Murray's head to the left. Right here, Sigourney Weaver. She played the cello, I believe. He was the violinist. And we know that's Oscar's father because in Ghostbusters 2, she claims that his father was a violinist. So that's got to be him, right? They never really said. And a really good shot of Bill right here before the doorway. Standing about right there. Oh, it's so cool. These are great matchups because nothing has changed. And a great shot of Bill Murray mimicking the skater, putting his arms up into the air, spinning around as the scene ends. Bill is standing right here, spinning. This spot right here. You can see that in the screenshot. I've always wanted to recreate this. Should I? I have to. This is a good time to point out that I am going in no particular order for these locations. It's more so just the logistics. I'm starting on the north side of Manhattan and I'm working my way down. And there were 2 scenes filmed at Columbus Circle in Ghostbusters. One of the greatest scenes of the entire movie being the entrance of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We're gonna get a whole lot closer. This isn't the location or the angle, but that building is the building that Mr. Stay Puft first comes out from behind. This one right here. Okay, looking down Central Park West, you know Spook Central's down that way. We'll get there eventually. I just wanted to show you the angle that you see the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man summoned by Ray Stantz. It just popped in there. He comes right from behind this building. He's actually walking towards us. That's Broadway. He's coming down Broadway towards 55 Central Park West. That's actually 550 Central Park West in the movie. They put a 0 on it, but 55 Central Park West is where he was headed. I'm gonna match up the screenshot here for you. Oh man, every time I come here, I get so excited. The freaking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man right here for the first time. So right here on this corner right here in Central Park West, this is the best spot to stand. The camera would have been somewhere right here in this spot because you can make out the curve, the statue, Columbus Circle, the building, this building back in 1984. Just imagine the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man right there in that spot because that's where he was standing. Here he comes. Notice all the taxi cabs. There's phone booths. There's Columbus Circle, the monument to the right. Mass hysteria. Dogs and cats. No, that wasn't here. We'll get there eventually. They overlaid the images. They didn't have a 100-foot Marshmallow Man back then. Little movie magic, but he was right there in that spot. I love how the windows of this building right here haven't changed just a little bit. That is obviously the same shape. He's a sailor. He's here to party. Kind of paraphrase a little bit. I was also out here a few years ago and showed some Ninja Turtle locations right here in the same spot. But over here, this is where the Keymaster, Louis Tolley, talks to the horse. Right here. And right here at Columbus Circle, the entrance to Central Park. This can be seen in Ghostbusters. This is actually a monument to the U.S. Maine. Just a little history there for you. Oh, windy. Box just hit me in the feet. Watch out. And you can definitely see the Maine right here in sculpture form as Vince Cortho, the Keymaster, aka Rick Moranis, is walking towards us. He's actually out here. And he's wearing a blue shirt. Not here, but back in 1984 in the movie. I'll put the screenshot in. Got to get back a little bit, but you can definitely see the U.S. Maine monument as the scene begins here in Columbus Circle. Here's a really good matchup. The Caribbean band up on that first pedestal. A shot of the Keymaster, Rick Moranis. That's almost frame for frame, shot for shot right there. The stonework matches up and everything. That's so cool. So he's going to the right. So he runs around this curve, comes this way, and then the horse and buggy, is parked right over here. I'll show you. But first, the camera angle kind of goes this way and you see this stone pillar, these two stone pillars behind this stonework right here. Lower right hand corner, Rick Moranis, who doesn't live too far from here from what I've heard. Hasn't acted in a while, one of my favorite actors of all time. Really wish he would come back. I understand his decision, but the world needs a lot more Rick Moranis movies lately. It's a different light pole, with same spot. This is where the horse and buggy was parked. You can make out the gold trim of the Starbucks. Today it's a Starbucks, but this right here, this building, you can see that behind the horse and buggy. And again, there's where the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man appeared later in the film. But the Keymaster thought the horse was the gatekeeper. You will perish in flames, is what he says before he trips over the trash can right over here. If this hot dog cart wasn't here, the trash can would have been about right here in this spot. That's a hilarious scene. One of the best lines of the movie, "What an a-hole," although I paraphrased it, was said right here by the horse and buggy driver. And when the Keymaster's eyes go red, the terror dog inside, you can see the backside of the main monument behind him. The shadow of steps and two people standing upon them back in 1984 right here. And this is just a great view of 55 Central Park West. Spook Central, Dana Barrett's apartment. Now, it looks a lot smaller, doesn't it? That's because they added extra floors. It was a matte painting. They made it look creepier and taller. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man approaching this way. We'll get over there in a second. I'll break down all those locations, but I just wanted to show you that 55 Central Park West is right before Tavern on the Green, the restaurant where Louis Tolley is possessed by the terror dog. You can kind of make out the glass right here. This is where we're going. And with Spook Central in the background, welcome to the historic Tavern on the Green restaurant where Louis Tolley was possessed by the terror dog. Nice doggy. Nice pooch. I think I've got a milk bone. That happened right inside this courtyard among this glass over here. We're gonna match up some screenshots, but it starts as Louis is coming down right here and takes a corner right into the courtyard right here. So he's running down this way. Prior to this, the terror dog chased him across Central Park West from his apartment. He jumped over the Central Park wall, and now it picks up right here. This is the same stonework railing you can see behind Rick Moranis as he's coming. You can also make out some of the brick of the Tavern on the Green down in the lower right hand corner. Check it out. Camera angle like this. And then I heard in the commentary of Ghostbusters, Ivan Reitman said that they placed the statue here on purpose to kind of give it more of a gothic feel. There was a statue that Rick kind of stops and looks back, and it's right next to his head before he enters Tavern on the Green. And if I can find a picture of the former glass structure, it's in the same location. It was more centered, and there was two trees to the left and to the right, and they framed it up nicely. Rick Moranis in the middle as the terror dog coming his way, right there in that spot. Very square today. It was more rounded in 1984, but that is where it happened. So cool. I love this spot. And then again, right behind Spook Central. I've gotten in here before, but I wasn't carrying a camera. I'm gonna see if I can get the angle from the inside looking out as we saw Rick Moranis beating on the glass. Somebody let me in! All right, I got inside. Success. I just took a couple photos. There is a wedding party in progress. I'm gonna blow this up so you can better see it, but right there in the center of those two columns, that's where Rick Moranis would have been beating on the glass. Changed a lot. Different glass today, but same area. Also, I got another angle there. Would have been right there. In that spot. And then this is just from the side angle. Very nice restaurant in there. It smelled great. I wish I could stay longer. And if you're looking for a restroom in Central Park, Tavern on the Green has public restrooms right here on the back side. There you go. There. Somebody let me in. I gotta pee. 66th Street in Central Park West. This building should look awfully familiar to you. Dana Barrett's apartment. And also the church right next door. No one steps on a church in my town. Directly that way, where we just were moments ago, Columbus Circle, the route of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, all the way up to 66th here. Also the Ghostbusters, after leaving downtown, and that convoy with the NYPD, the Ecto 1 coming this way. Hundreds of extras in the streets here. I heard on the commentary, hey, I'm vlogging here. Ivan Reitman said on the commentary of Ghostbusters that they shut down Central Park West from Columbus Circle to 66th Street to film the movie for 3 days. And at one point, they had shut down most of Manhattan. They had backed it up just to film the scenes. Now, some of those scenes at the end were filmed here, and some were on a set at Columbia Ranch, present day Warner Brothers Ranch, out in Los Angeles. They made a fake facade of this building so they could film some of those scenes. And I will break everything down for you. I am so stoked to be back here. Every time I come to New York, I come to Spook Central. As you can see, it's not as tall as it was in the movie, Little Movie Magic. It was a painting. The set that was up there was at Warner Ranch when they defeated Gozer at the end, when the Stay Puft Marshmallow came. That was all on a set. The interior scenes of Dana Barrett's apartment, also on a set. Nothing was filmed inside this building in Ghostbusters. It was all movie magic. And I think we're gonna start chronologically, work our way all the way through the movie. The first scene you see this building is when Dana Barrett gets out of the taxi cab with the groceries. And that right there is almost shot for shot. Dana with the cello case. About got smacked by that car. Looks like that was a Lincoln. And Gozer's temple that was placed upon the top of this building was a set back at Columbia Studios. It was designed by Harold Ramis. He actually designed it off of a building. It was inspired by a building in St. Louis. That's where Harold Ramis went to college. I got that from the commentary. We've been to St. Louis and I think I remember what building he's talking about. If I ever go back there, I'll try to find it. And the second time you see this building, a close-up of Louis Tolley, followed by the terror dog. Okay, who brought the dog? This is right before it chases him over to Tavern on the Green. I've got it paused just right. Stonework, all made up. As you see, they have dressed the awning to 550 in the film. And Louis about to clear the screen right here. Red doors of the church, the stonework, runs directly across the street and jumps over this wall in this spot right here. All right, you see this tree right here? Pay attention to this tree. We'll get there. This can be seen in Ghostbusters a couple of times, but this wall here in this spot, you can make out the tree to the left, the base of it, and also the benches down there. About right there is where he jumps over. So this block right here, Louis's hand would have been right here to the right of this cut. And you can clearly see this cut before the tree in the screenshot. Do you see what I'm talking about over there to the lower left? It's in the shadows, but because of that location, I can make out that his hand is right here. So this is the spot that he jumps over. Also, you can see this tree, this trunk behind him too as well. And then on down the way, as I move back, is more so this angle. Here you go. There was benches, not the same benches, but the same location. Actually, those might be the same benches. But right there, that's amazing that these trees are still here. You can see these trees later in the movie. And I'm guessing there was like some sort of contraption over here, or a bag, an airbag to catch him, because that's like 6.5 feet down. And he was heading the right direction, because look, there's Tavern on the Green. And the bellhop and this couple. I think he said there was a bear in his apartment. The terror dog chasing after Louis jumps out right there. I got him in the screen, pause it just right, comes out of the door. And in this screenshot, you see kind of like the triangular shadow in the lower bottom. Well, that is this right here, matching up this shot before the terror dog jumps over the wall. You can make out the church again. Here you go. Right there. That's more like it. Cool. Jumps over the wall right here after Louis. And we're gonna get a little closer to the door. The next scene you see in the movie of 55 Central Park West Spook Central was actually shot on set. A fake facade, fake doorway. So cool to be this close. Just to show you what I mean, Venkman gets out of the cab. It's that Thursday night for the date. He goes to see Dana, and he comes right through here. There's a shot you see of this doorway. They built a fake doorway and fake portion of this building at Columbia Ranch so they could film this scene and the end scenes when the Ghostbusters come to save the day right out here. And I'll use this frame of that scene to show you that the backdrop, the building, is a set. It looks pretty close, but if you look at the detail, the brickwork, the door, very close. But this shot right here of Peter going up to see Dana, that was done at Warner Studios, Warner Ranch. Actually, Columbia Studios, Columbia Ranch at the time. Are you the key master? One of the most hilarious scenes I have ever watched. There is no Dana, there's only Zool. The stonework, the structure, So iconic and etched in my mind. Seen this movie hundreds of times. I get so happy just standing here, breaking these down. Just want to add this before I cross the street again. Now you gotta use your imagination. This shot would have been way up on a crane, but a good shot that shows you what's going on here. Hundreds of extras right here before a barricade. The Ecto one parking right before the entrance. The National Guard, the NYPD. Also, Fire Department, New York, all in frame right here. Amazing shots of valor. The Ghostbusters about to rescue the city of New York. The New Yorkers totally convinced that they can do so, rooting them on. This is Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, the church from Ghostbusters. We're gonna get a little closer. This church, no one steps on. Please don't. No one steps on a church in my town. So many extras piled upon the steps. Love the energy that just roars from these shots. You've got the nun standing right up here holding her arms out. You've got the rabbis. You've got a nice mix of culture. I love that about the Ghostbusters. Always done well. Always wonder what that sign says. I've got it paused so we can actually read it. It's it for the ends at hand. Those people right here having a great time. Everything matches up behind them then and now. Yeah, that nun right there. Look at her expression. There's also a police officer in there. Just a great shot. That really captures the vibe at the end of the movie. And this is one of the shots I couldn't wait to match up. I am standing right before the main doors. The Ghostbusters right out before me. The New Yorkers right behind them. You see this tree right here? This shape, and of course this one. I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna put the shot into frame. Check this out. Those trees have grown quite a bit, but definitely the same trees you see behind the Ghostbusters and the extras. They're standing right there. So freaking awesome 40 years ago. That's an iconic shot of the Ghostbusters looking up to where they're about to climb. So yeah, there's these two trees. Right here is where the Ghostbusters were standing, looking up at Spook Central as Gozer somehow knew they were about to climb up. Recreating the shot. As you can see, a little different, much more taller. Right here in this spot, look at that. Those trees again. We know that this is the spot that the Ghostbusters, all four of them, were standing as the storm came. They look up at Spook Central. Right there. Awesome. And this is when the two sets of 55 Central Park West come into play. As that storm comes, an earthquake happens, stuff starts falling from the building, stonework. The road starts cracking open. The NYPD police car sinks into the road about right there. So they did shoot some of that out here, but most of it at Columbia Studios. The fire department, the National Guard, all gathered around the impact site. The Ghostbusters fell into one of the holes. This right here was on the set in Los Angeles. Now when they needed to show this at the practical location, when they filmed the scene at the end, they cut a police car in half and made it look like it was sunken in the road, and they just kind of laid it out there, and from afar it looked like it was the same car. And from this scene, a practical shot, props of a road the Ghostbusters standing up on. You can see the building on the other side of 66 behind Ray. Or out to the right, actually right above Egon as he's about ready to stand up. Getting this, recreating the best I can without getting in the road. Love that shot right before they go inside. You can match up all the windows. So cool. And not done here yet. At the corner of 65th and Central Park West. From that corner, right up there, the Ghostbusters blasted the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, right after he stepped on this church. No one steps on a church in my town. Venkman's line, Bill Murray's line, one of my favorites. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's foot, his right foot, about ready to plant right here. Those people to the right, you can make out the church and the building behind it. 550 Spook Central, 55 Central Park West. This is right before he approaches the Ghostbusters on the corner. Yeah, you can definitely make out his foot. The building behind it too. This is a good spot. Actually, gotta get a little lower. There you go. Just like that. And getting really low in the street to get this angle for you. The Marshmallow Man coming for the church. Walter Peck into frame. That's actor William Atherton, by the way. Brilliantly played, Walter Peck. And a little further down Central Park West to get this angle. 1, 2, 3. Blast him. All 4 Ghostbusters blasting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And after the climatic moment at the end, Gozer is defeated. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is splattered right down Central Park West. Everyone comes down to the main level and celebrates in a victory. Some of those shots back on the ranch in LA, and most of them right here. The Ghostbusters drive off into the sunset, and Slimer at the very end coming this way from Columbus Circle. And that victory kiss with director Ivan Reitman's name, one of the first ending credits with 55-0 in the background right there. Rest in peace, Ivan Reitman. I dedicate this video to Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis. We miss you so much, guys. And who remembers this guy at the end, just celebrating, standing on top of a garbage can or something over there? He's standing right before this window and this door. You can see it. It's to the left of the main entrance and just past 66. Trying to match this up the best I can. Would have to be in the middle of the road, but Slimer at the very end. Last shot of Ghostbusters coming up this way. Maybe if traffic clears out a little bit, I can get that angle a little better for you. There you go. Just credited Elmer Bernstein, who created the music of Ghostbusters, a fantastic score, and Ray Parker Jr., who wrote the Ghostbusters song. Have to mention that. All at the end here. The Ghostbusters actually turn around and head back the way they came, towards Ghostbusters HQ, the firehouse. And this is going to be a very long video because there are so many locations and spots to break down, both here in New York and LA. So I appreciate you sticking with me. I hope you Ghostbuster fans are enjoying it so far. There's still much ahead. And now we come to 42nd and 5th, one of the most iconic locations of Ghostbusters and of New York, the New York Public Library. The 2 gigantic lions sitting left and to the right of the entrance. I've been here before, and man, it's like the first time every time with all of these locations, but the New York Public Library, the very first scene of Ghostbusters. And of course we're gonna match up the spot. This is the angle you don't see of the movie. Right here, 5th Avenue. Just to show you what's going on here. We'll circle back to the library in the establishing shot, which was from right over there. That lion is the first lion you see. Okay, as the birds are cued, recreating the opening shot of Ghostbusters, Bernstein's score cues, and you make out the top right here. The camera just fades down like this, right over the top of the lion in the shadows. I'll try to match it up a little better than that, but just wanted to show you what was going down here. The opening shot of my favorite movie. So the camera would have been way up. They're probably shooting this from a crane. There you go, slow motion, a little wider angle. The recreation 40 years later. There was construction going on during the time of the movie. I remember listening to the commentary. They said that they had to shoot all the scenes inside the library before 10 a.m. because that's when they open, and they still open today at 10 a.m. Well, I don't have a library card, but I do have a book. This will come in handy. Beautiful piece of architecture here. Giant urn, almost like a giant trophy right there. Pause the screen just right. Nothing has changed. I've matched this up before. I always love showing this and pointing it out. Notice the pattern. These two squares here, the flower, and that pattern right there. As Ray and Peter are coming to the library in the beginning of the movie to investigate how the books flew off the shelves. Check that out. They're walking right up the stairs right there. And before we get in there, I just want to show you, this is what we're looking for. Should look familiar to you. This is here at the New York Public Library. Welcome. So there are 3 floors and a basement, or ground floor, of the New York Public Library. I want to say the filming location is on the 3rd floor. Perhaps the Bill Blass Public Catalog Room or the Rosemary Reading Room. And this is the main entrance, the main hall of the New York Public Library. Have to show it. Beautiful, stunning. Wow. Look at that. It's like the Sistine Chapel in here. So behind this door over here is the Rosemary Reading Room. Okay, so I was able to go inside the Bill Blass research area. If you come here, you have to go in there on a tour, or if you're doing research, like I was, Tobin Spirit Guide, if you're doing research, you can go in there. So when you walk all the way through the first room, go to the left. That is the area where they filmed the scenes in Ghostbusters. So here's the room where they filmed Ghostbusters, the opening scene. The librarian bringing the library cart with the books down the center. This would have been on the opposite side. The camera would have been on the opposite side. I'll also put these into frame. It's a quick shot I got. This is one area I could take a photo, but I had to be very quick. A lot of people doing research. And I also sat down for a while and did a little of my own research. I've got the Tobin Spirit Guide book open there on the desk. They are the same desk you see in Ghostbusters. The desk that Egon is sitting by. Same desk. I was trying to sit in that spot. I was 1 or 2 desks behind that. This is the door. Notice the exit sign. In the screenshots, you definitely see the exit sign. This is the door that Ghostbusters come in and run out of. Actually, you only see Peter and Ray walk through that door. And they meet Egon in the center of the room. That's the door. And look at me doing my research. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And right here is the closest I could get to the most accurate angle of the film. Bringing the library cart down this way. Also Egon at the table right there. Peter and Ray coming after him. And this is the part of the library on the other side of the wall. Not in the movie, but almost identical. Notice there's no exit sign above that door. This is the other side of the library. And after the encounter with the librarian ghost, the get her scene, all 3 of the Ghostbusters and the librarian come piling, stamping out of this door right here. Not the center door, because that's a rotating door, but this door on the north side, that's the door they run out of. In a split second, as the door opens, it scares a bunch of pigeons, and you can see the brass doorknobs right there, the locks and everything. This door, as it's about to be open, and all 3 of the Ghostbusters and the librarian burst out. First one being Ray. Look at this, paused it just right. Notice the stonework and everything. Ray comes out. Then Venkman. If you look here, you see Ray in the green jacket. Notice the New York Public Library sign right there. That sign is still here today. Check this out. All right, so here's the sign. Ray's foot. Actually, right there is where Ray was. Just to put things into perspective, camera would have been way up. That's where the Ghostbusters ran out of the New York Public Library back in 1984. I love this location. It was so cool to get inside there finally and see that room. And the next location, right across the street here. Actually right there, the Manhattan Bank. And no longer a bank, but this was Manhattan City Bank, where Ray took out the second or the third mortgage to finance the Ghostbusters. You're never gonna forget this, Ray, was Peter's words as the scene began. This is totally different. The doors are different. This is not a bank anymore. But if it were, right on the glass of the former doors, you would see Manhattan City Bank as the Ghostbusters walked out along the sidewalk, and you can't match up buildings behind them. Put a screenshot in the lower right hand corner. Notice this building back here, and also this building here. That's the best we can do. It's also very busy right here. And the screenshot in the lower right hand corner to show you the buildings behind Peter and Ray right there. The spot, the area they're walking along the sidewalk right across from the New York Public Library. Although it's changed, it's right here, the old Manhattan City Bank, where the Ghostbusters got their loan. Okay, so we're gonna head back to the Central Park area and work our way back. There's quite a few locations in Midtown Manhattan. Don't you worry, later we'll be at Ghostbusters HQ, the Ghostbusters Firehouse. Now crossing over Park Avenue. Behind that MetLife building, Grand Central Station. I actually just came through there. Took the train all the way up on the east side of Central Park. Heading over near the Madison and 63rd Street area. And right here at 1663rd Street, near Madison Avenue, right here in this spot, this is where Ray Stantz, Dan Aykroyd, in the montage scene, comes out with a trap. Coming up these steps, holding the trap, saying, "I got it! I got it." There's a screenshot, holding the trap in his right hand, grabbing the railing with his left hand there. You can make out the trim of the window, the door behind him, the silhouette, the steps. This is 16 East 63rd Street on the east side of Central Park. And right here, this one right here, right there, that's where he comes out. Just a split moment there, a few seconds in that montage. And we're gonna spend a few minutes at Madison and 62nd Street. Very busy, as you can see, but right along Madison over here in this block, this is where the taxi cab ghost was parked. This is one of my most favorite ghosts in all of Ghostbusters. It was actually an animatronic, but it was so freaking scary. Even my fiance, Chris the girl, when she saw that, when we rewatched Ghostbusters, she's like, "That's the scariest part." I agree. So just to set this up properly, the containment has blown, the containment unit back at Ghostbusters HQ. The ghosts have leaked out into New York City. Among those ghosts, you have the subway ghost, Slimer, and the taxi cab ghost depicted in that montage. First, I'm gonna show you this shot to establish the location, how I found this. Notice this coffee shop sign way down on the curb. Now in the screenshot, before the gentleman gets in the taxi cab driven by the taxi cab ghost, you can see that same coffee shop sign back in 1984. Now with that coffee shop sign, also look out in the distance, the buildings in the background. I'm gonna put this screenshot into frame for you and let you be the judge. That matches up pretty nice, doesn't it? All the buildings along Madison, some have changed, but that coffee shop sign, that awning, still there, dead giveaway. And if you look in the screenshot, as he's about to get into the taxi cab, you count 1, 2, 3, 4 cars all the way into the curb to 61st Street. And it looks like there might be a little gap. That makes me think that the taxi cab was parked right in this area before the parking meter. Not only do all the buildings down Madison Avenue match up 40 years later, this post and this sign above the dude's head as he's getting in, giving orders to where he wants to drive, telling him he's in a hurry. That pole is in the same position. So the taxi cab, I think, more so, was right here where this white vehicle was. So if the storm drain was still there, we would know exactly where the taxi cab was parked. But Madison Avenue has been repaved probably 24 times since 1984, so there is no storm grate. But because of the location of this sign right here and the buildings behind, this is where the taxi cab was parked. This is where the taxi cab ghost was. And I'd say they removed the front windshield to get that shot of that animatronic. So freaking creepy. And from everything I just determined, was sitting here right in the spot, close up before the taxi cab took off. So now across the way, the taxi cab takes off and is actually gonna make the corner. This is not the camera angle, just showing you what happens. He takes off, almost runs into several cars and takes a left on 62nd. And this is perhaps the best angle. This car has just dodged the taxi cab, or is about to, and it is up on the curve of 62nd and Madison. Notice the building behind it matches up. That building right there is where the taxi cab is parked and taking off, where we just were. And the taxi cab in frame, taxi cab driver ghost, just past that red car and is heading down 62nd. If those 3 trees were still here today that you see this car crash into, look over into the very left side of the screen. You see this structure? It would be right here. You can barely make out the yellow of the taxi cab behind this Cadillac. You see it between that box way off in the distance? That car crashed right here. And it's back down into the subway. Sucker. Subway is my main source of transportation this weekend. If you're wondering how I'm getting around Manhattan so quick, I'm taking the subways. And now, welcome to the very famous Rockefeller Center, Rockefeller Plaza. That golden statue should look very familiar to you, 30 Rock. Check this out. A filming location to Ghostbusters. During the montage scene, the Ghostbusters run right through here. I'll match it up for you. It's good to be back here. Just walk through the Rainbow Room, where Saturday Night Live is filmed. Also the Jimmy Fallon Show. NBC Studios over there, the Today Show. Always love coming through here. And with the gold statue in the background, you can match up that it was right here the Ghostbusters ran through along Rockefeller. Tons of folks in the way, a lot of people taking photos, but they ran right through here, the gold statue back there at the plaza. You can see it in the background. Peter's holding the trap in that scene. And I just walked through 30 Rock, NBC Jimmy Fallon Show, right behind me. Across the way here, right over here in the Americans building, on the sidewalk is our next location. Okay, so right here, 49th and 6th, right there on the ledge before the Avenue of the Americas building, tall building. Check these out. All 3 of these are the same, by the way. A little bit different, but right there, that's where Slimer was, and that's where he popped out of the hot dog cart. Just want to show you, I'm gonna go match up the screenshots. 48th, 49th, although there are still hot dog carts here. The hot dog cart in Ghostbusters was more so right here. We know that because from the shot with the Rockefeller Center sign in the background, you can make out these buildings, and specifically the pattern right up in here of the Americas building. They put a fake Rockefeller Center sign right there to make you think that's where it was. Rockefeller Center is actually back that way. That's where we just came from. Little movie magic. I mean, technically it's near Rockefeller Center. I was slightly just a little off center. If you look behind the hot dog sign, where the Rockefeller Center sign was, you can see the windows of the Americas building. Also out and to the right, below the umbrella, off into the distance, you see the windows down the street, down 49th Street. Those match up. It was right in here. This has all changed a lot, but right here in this spot is where the hot dog cart was. He's an ugly little spud, isn't he? Check this out. Now it's a tight shot, but here you go. Slimer would have been like right here. That's amazing, the green ghost. Also in the Tobin Spirit Guide. Here's the widest angle over here in the corner. You can make out one of the Americas buildings behind Slimer. Right there. You put the picture into frame, you can make out the buildings down the street a little bit. Specifically this one over here. There you go. You gotta use your imagination. Check this out. Little then and now action for you. Dude, he was freaking right here, the green ghost. And there was a quick shot of a doggy looking up at Slimer, which I thought was hilarious. Shout out to the editor for putting that in there, the shaggy dog. That portion of brick is gone. It would have been down to the right of the cart, but there is some of that like quartz block still here, right in front of the building. Hot dog cart right there. Incredible. It's right across from Radio City Music Hall, a couple blocks over, 30 Rock. A lot of folks running right here, right in front of 1221 America's building. Come check out the Slimer spot. And because I haven't eaten anything today, in honor of Slimer, I think I'm gonna have a hot dog. It's cold out here, and this dog is warm. This one's for you, Green Ghost Slimer. Location right over there. And welcome to the next filming location. And I welcome myself back to Times Square. We're gonna cross the street right here. When I was researching this location, it has a crossover location with Jason Takes Manhattan in 1989. I was out here 5 years ago and I pinpointed the spot where Jason was standing in Times Square. And guess what? He's standing in the same spot as Louis Tolley was, the Keymaster, in 1984. I knew right away because I had to pinpoint the spot where Jason stood, and he's standing in the same spot. In Jason Takes Manhattan, there was a fake subway entrance placed here, but I know that because there used to be a McDonald's, and it just recently closed down. Once this bus clears, this is madness out here, trying to do filming locations, but once this bus clears, you'll see the remnants of a McDonald's. Hold on, let me go over here. Okay, if you go back in 1989, this right here, just a couple years ago too, was a McDonald's. And that's how I traced down the location of Jason Takes Manhattan, because there was a McDonald's emblem there as well. Also, in Gremlins 2, the new batch. And that's how I matched it up, because this has changed so much. All right, this is madness. But Louis Tolley is standing right here beyond the storm grate in Ghostbusters. He's on his way to Spook Central. You can make out the statue in the base of it. Oh, hello, Elmo. Louis, moments before, actually came across the street here, 46th, and he was standing right here on the corner. Got the screenshot into play to show you what's going on. That statue across the way is a dead giveaway, but Jason Voorhees was standing in almost the exact same spot. Right here. Okay, this might be the hardest filming location I've ever had to match up for obvious reasons, but right behind me, over here at the storm grate, that's where Louis is standing. Also, Minnie Mouse is out here, King Kong, you name it, it's Times Square, everyone's here. Everyone's having a party. All right guys, I'm super pumped. Are you guys ready for this? I don't know if you are. Welcome to Tribeca. And as the red door is going down, welcome to 14th North Moore Street. Ghostbusters Firehouse. The Ghostbusters Firehouse. HQ. It's like the first time every time. I'm so excited. I'm gonna try not to get emotional here. Amazing that the sign, the OG sign, is hanging in the original position as it was 40 years ago. That has something to do with Frozen Empire coming out about a month ago, well, a couple weeks ago. But hey, timing is everything. Welcome to the exterior filming location of the Ghostbusters Firehouse. Once again, this is, I lost count, this is like my 7th time here. We're gonna match up some screenshots, and then after this, we're heading to Los Angeles, and I'm gonna show you the interior Ghostbusters HQ, the inside of the Firehouse Ladder 23 in Los Angeles. And as always, every time I'm here, always a crowd taking photos. One of the most iconic buildings, if not movies, of the 1980s of all time. New York City filming location, top of the list. Most visited, ladder number 8, hook and ladder number 8. Now, if you didn't know, this is an actual operating firehouse. The first time I made a video out here, I talked about ladder 8's involvement with 9/11. Sadly, everyone working that day at ladder 8 perished. Very tragic. There is a lot of history here, not just Ghostbusters. And hats off to Fire Rescue, FDNY New York. Thanks for your service. Also would like to dedicate this video to them. Very awesome to see this with the sign and all restored. Restored recently in 2018, 2019. I came out here in 2019 after they had taken the scaffolding off. Cool to see that sign hanging there. I have never seen that before in the real. So cool that we're getting this in the 40th anniversary filming locations video. I mean, that's freaking amazing. It's a brand new sign. It's not the original, but very screen accurate. They did do some B-roll here for the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know, most of that was filmed in the UK on a green screen. All the New York footage that you saw, most of it was just B-roll, computer generated. They built the firehouse in the studios over at the UK. Actually, the same studios they filmed Harry Potter. I think it was Warner Brothers. And the insignia of Ladder 8, hook and ladder. You got the ghost. You got the ghost holding a Halligan. It's a fire tool. Also, you got this one over here, the insignia. The last time I was here, I bought a t-shirt inside. I was here with Adam the Woo. And the time before that, I went inside and took a few pictures of the Ghostbusters 2 sign. This is the first time I've been here and the door's shut. Maybe because it's very popular right now. A lot of folks out here on this Saturday. So a lot like I did at 55 Central Park West, I'm gonna break down the filming locations for the firehouse chronologically. And the first time you see the firehouse with the for sale sign, the graffiti, the Ghostbusters haven't quite moved in yet. Actually, they're inside with the real estate agent. Ray's testing out the pole, the staircase. That's actually out in LA, the interior. But right here before that, this is the first time you see hook and ladder number 8 in Ghostbusters. And the second time you see the house, this screenshot right here, Peter Venkman, Bill Murray, instructing the guy on the ladder. You don't think people are gonna drive by and not see the sign. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, I've got the shot into frame matching it up. Notice that that gold emblem today was all painted black. The doors, the trim, the building next to it. Very tight shot. You don't think people are gonna drive by and not see the sign. And then moments later, Ray comes in with the Ecto, pre-painted white Ecto. And this is a cool matchup right here on Moore Street because all these buildings in the back, they really haven't changed. Ray coming up in the black ambulance, a 1959 Cadillac Ecto 1. Looks like this has always been an alleyway with gates there, even 40 years ago. And looks like they're gonna test the K-12 saws. I used to work for Fire Rescue back in Tampa, and every shift they would have to come test their equipment out, make sure it works, ready if they get a call. Hey, you can't park that thing here. Okay, the firefighters are done. They tested the K-12 saws, they're ready to go in case they get called, in case they need those. But right here's the next shot. When Ray actually gets out of the Ecto, we don't know it's the Ecto then, but he's talking to Peter right here. And you can match up the stonework. Okay, you see this spot right here? Check this out. It's a little different today, like they've kind of washed it out, but there's that spot in between Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray. There you go, I'll put that back in the frame. That's where that spot, that's that spot 40 years later. That's cool. And the camera looks back, you get Ray's point of view. Shot of Bill. Notice the traffic box on the light pole in the corner there? Probably different box, but same location. And then behind them across the way, present day bar, you can make out the windows then and now. Just a tight shot of the reverse angle matching it up. And I'm recreating the camera angle. The first time ever seen on screen, all decked up, the Ecto 1 leaving the bay and coming around the corner. They're heading to their first call, which just so happens to be in Los Angeles, and we'll get there eventually. But you see the Ecto take the corner right here for the first time and head up that way. They're actually heading downtown. Just imagine the Ecto right here before us, a really tight shot. You can see the lights of this building way off in the distance. But this is the first corner the Ecto ever took on screen. There's another shot of it. Would have been right here as it progresses down the street. Yeah, the next shot, the next cut was at the hotel in Los Angeles. And near the middle of the movie, a very quick establishing shot, very wide camera angle. I'm so low. And it's probably a different manhole cover by now, but the same spot. Very wide angle, just recapturing this moment in the movie. And then later, which I'll show you in a moment, when Walter Peck comes, it's almost the same exact camera angle. And the gatekeeper is caught back at Columbus Circle, dropping off or picking up. Dropping off Janine. Love Janine's character. Annie Potts. I'm glad that she returned for the new movies. It's very cool that the sign is there now. Oh man, they did a really good job with that sign. It's almost exact. This is when I thought that Egon and Janine would end up together. But as we know in Ghostbusters 2, it was Lewis and Janine. And there's an actual NYPD police station right across from the fire station. I always thought it was funny. The police didn't have to take Lewis too far. I mean, let's just pretend he was across the street. That's kind of fun, isn't it? And remember when I mentioned the manhole cover and that we'd go back to it? Well, William Adler, Walter Peck, Mr. Peck, EPA, came back with the court order. Very wide and low angle shot here. NYPD vehicles coming to the curb. They're about to go in and shut off the containment unit. Love that the sign's in frame. This is so cool. And an aerial shot from across the street. The containment unit has been shut off by Mr. Walter Peck. Almost said his nickname. And the top blows all the ghosts going up into New York. The ghost montage coming soon. But the Ghostbusters then run through Station 23 in Los Angeles, the interior scenes, and then somehow emerge here in New York out from this firehouse. Movie magic. That's how it works. And here you go, everyone pouring out, recreating the shot the best I can. This was up quite a ways, perhaps on a crane. Everyone's spilling out in the street, and then there's quite a brawl, and then the Ghostbusters are arrested. And the Keymaster escapes nonchalantly behind everyone as they're already almost fighting out in the street. There's a screenshot of Rick Moranis, who is totally... I'm vlogging here. He's standing right there. The former gate behind him. And at that point, the firehouse has not blown its lid yet. Everyone rushed out of here, and they're standing right here in the street at the moment when the top explodes. All the debris coming down right here. Everyone piled up, several extras out here. Peter, Egon, Ray, Winston, they all meet up right here. You can make out the chain link gate behind them. News van. Actually, that's the electric company van and the police car behind them. You can make out the edge of this wall. The new gate, the former gate behind them. They were right out here. I want these men arrested. Your mother! That's one of my favorite lines right there, Egon Spengler. I wonder if that was ad-lib. Harold Ramis put that in the script or not. Your mother! I want these men arrested. And because of this screenshot, I can pinpoint you the spot that the Ghostbusters were arrested in front of their headquarters. This would have been further up. But check out all the extras, the van, the brawl. It was like right there in this area. The gate was open right out in here. That's where the Ghostbusters were arrested. Now, I don't know if anyone ever caught this, but there is a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man advertisement in this quick shot. I think this is a matte painting. Those buildings are long gone. There's new buildings behind me, but I just wanted to point that out. Always thought that was cool. Such a beautiful firehouse, isn't it? Built in 1912. Fun fact, it was actually originally built and it was double in size. They actually halved it way back in the day. You can see how it's so skinny? It's because they actually, it used to be bigger, but they widened this street over here. They made it wider and they took out half the building. So if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have this iconic shape. Maybe they wouldn't have picked this firehouse. I have now ridden the subways to downtown. For the next several locations, we will be in Lower Manhattan, One World Trade Center right there. 240 Center Street. The old police headquarters, New York Police Department, NYPD headquarters building, served as the filming location, the practical filming location of the jail scene where the Ghostbusters were incarcerated. The acid rain has taken out this sign here. You can barely make out police department. Downstairs in this building, I don't know if it's being utilized today. The only way we'd find out is perhaps commit a crime. But down in the basement where the jail is, that's where they filmed the scenes. The Ghostbusters going over the blueprint of Spook Central. Reginald VelJohnson from Family Matters making his debut in this film. His first time playing a police officer. Played a police officer in Family Matters, Die Hard, but first in Ghostbusters. Inside this building is where they filmed those scenes. Right here in New York, practical filming location. And this looks like it's no longer owned by the police department. Might be some kind of a hotel. Notice the lions. Huh? New York Public Library. Hey, 2 sets of lions. So I just went inside the lobby there. It's a private residency. I pretended like I wanted to stay there. And they're like, no, you can't. Here's the back side of the police station, the filming location from Broome Street. This is a holy grail of a Ghostbusters filming location, because this is where they first mention Ivo Shandor. They go over the blueprints of Spook Central. They talk about the Keymaster, the Gatekeeper, and the mayor calls them to City Hall by Reginald VelJohnson. Whoa! And it's not too often I run into people in New York City. Shout out to Mark E. Phillips of NYC and Film, nycandfilm.com. His YouTube channel is Glue Cement, one word. He saw me standing here and he's like, hey Jay, I do filming locations too. And he was telling me that there's been a lot of movies filmed in this building. One of my favorites, Death Wish, the police station scene, also a Hitchcock movie. And Mark has done a lot of Ghostbusters stuff himself. So make sure you check out Glue Cement on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below. Nice to meet you, Mark. Thanks for all the good tips on Ghostbusters. And right here on the corner of Hester Street in Little Italy, the Ecto 1 took a hard right here. This is a popular spot because it's directly below the Welcome to Little Italy sign now. In the screenshot, you'll notice Umberto's Clam House, which used to be right here. Umberto's Clam House is still here. It's just right down there. I'll show you that in a second, because this business that was here in 1984 is now over here, and you can see it in Ghostbusters. But right here is the corner that the Ecto 1, just a glimpse of it, you can see it. As you can see, it's busy here. I'm gonna put it in the lower right hand corner, but this over here was once Umberto's. There you go, matching it up as best I can. Busy Little Italy here. In Ghostbusters, this pole is shiny and new. Now it's been painted. Look at the red base. And in the screenshot, metallic. It was like brand new there in 1984. As seen at their prior location in Ghostbusters, Umberto's Clam House. That sign, it used to be right there. Now at Mulberry Street, that's the cross between Hester and Mulberry Street, where the Ecto took the corner, down here at 122 Mulberry Street in front of this Little Italy fire hydrant. This establishment is where Egon Spengler walks out with a ghost trap in the montage. I got it. Just to show you what's going on here, I'm going in. Gonna put the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. Notice this window here, 122. That is where Egon is standing in front of with the trap. There were some barrels down to the left. Notice the brick behind him. There's a restaurant there now. Also, there's like a green building. That is all right there still today. Several restaurants in line. This is the window. This is where he was standing. You can see all this there behind him in the lower right hand corner. This is 122 Mulberry Street. This is where he walked out of. That window, it's been replaced, but it's the same shape. And just passing by the United States Courthouse, which has been seen in many films in New York City. Look at the light. hitting the limestone. That's awesome. First Center Street, the David N. Dinkins Municipal Building. This might look familiar to you, specifically right here. This is where the Ghostbusters and the National Guard pull out. Ecto 1 takes this corner, and then they're heading north up to Central Park. All right, so I paused the screen just right. I got it into frame. Check this out. This is today. Notice the door over here with the 1 north, the columns, the sidewalk. In the movie, the camera just right below the hood. You can see the windshield of the National Guard vehicle, the guardsmen sweeping by these columns. All of that here today right behind them. So this is like one of the first frames, and then the Steadicam moves this way, all the way up into the entrance right there. All right, you see this little pole here, this fire hydrant in this corner? Check out this shot right here. Paused it just right. It's right there in 1984. Painted black then, green today. This is just a quick shot. Also this black piece right here in the lower right hand corner, just to show you more detail. Oh, those bulbs haven't changed either. That's really awesome. Very busy sidewalk, but yeah, right there. Cool. And there was once a USA Today newspaper stand. It would have been sitting right in front of that plaque today. Check out the screenshot. Everything matches up behind it. The corner like this, the news van parked on the sidewalk here. And you can make out the tunnel. It's a cool screenshot. It's a little off center, but this is the best angle I can give you because there's like guard check right behind me. The Ghostbusters. Right down here, the New York City police cars, NYPD lined up before them. And in the screenshot, you can see people behind barricades right over here. The tunnel itself. So cool. Everything matches up then and now. And then check this out. Because of this screenshot, I can see where the Ecto 1 was parked. It's parked way back there because you can see the door. I've got it blown up on my phone. There's the door of the Ecto 1. So that's gonna let me know exactly where it was sitting. They were freaking lined up right here, bro. The NYPD and the Ghostbusters. Lenny just asked them to take care of business. And somehow the Ecto 1 was parked right here. Someone must have brought it over for him. That was really nice of him. I wonder who did that. Movie magic. And we know because of that screenshot I just showed you, just looking at the depth and the silhouette, it looked like the Ecto 1 was the last car, just because of the shadow it's leaving back there. Perhaps, as we know in the next shot, an NYPD car right behind it. But there's a tight shot of the Ecto parked right here. Bill Murray hanging out. Screams, one of my favorite lines. Let's run the red lights. Or let's run some red lights. And then you can make out Dan Aykroyd driving. Ray's driving. And then they take off and they take the corner up here. And then the next angle, camera angle, was from across the street. This is the same cobblestone. The Ghostbusters were parked right here in this spot, in this vicinity. That's insane. So cool. Just in case you were curious, this is the angle you don't see in the movie. The back side. This is where they drove through, reverse angle. It's a gigantic building. Wow. Okay. Let's run some red lights. There you go. Here's another screenshot. Then and now. The camera would have been up. You can definitely see straight ahead this street light. More so eye level, the camera angle then. Just clearing the crosswalk, the Ecto 1 on the way to Spook Central. And welcome to Mayor Lenny's house. New York City Hall. The practical filming location, exterior and interiorly filmed here in 1984. They didn't use the actual mayor's office, but they used one across the hall, I believe is what Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis said on the commentary of Ghostbusters. New York City Hall, constructed from 1803 to 1812. The Ghostbusters actually enter the property on Murray Street. Very secure right now. But if we were to go in there, reverse camera angle, the Ghostbusters actually go by the columns here and head up the steps. And City Hall today, very secure, as you can see right here. We're not getting closer than this, but I can zoom in and you can definitely make out the steps as seen in Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters, along with the crowd of the media and the police officers, go right up the center of those steps on this side of the City Hall at the perfect angle. I'm gonna zoom in right here and match up this shot. Notice this French, I think that's a French flag. That's in Ghostbusters. That flag, and of course, that flag. There you go, the best then and now I can get you. That's actually a really good angle because the camera was far back like this. The Ghostbusters going up those center rails. Exactly right there. You can make out some of the flag, the American flag to the left in that screenshot. That's amazing. Right there. See where the ladies walk in? That's where the Ghostbusters go up. Thank you, lady. Appreciate that. And they did film inside. Some of the funniest moments right here. Cats and dogs, mass hysteria. I have seen crap that'll turn you white. Paraphrasing it. The walls of the 53rd precinct were bleeding. Remember that guy? And of course, this is Bill Murray's like greatest moment of all time in here. I'm gonna miss him. Walter Peck. Get him out of here, Marilyn, he says. So awesome, they filmed in there. Also at the corner of Murray Street and Broadway, this subway entrance, or exit, City Hall Station subway entrance, this is where the subway ghost flies out of when the Ghostbusters HQ explodes, the containment unit explodes. There's a montage and that white ghost with the long arms comes right out of the subway. The bulbs were painted red back then, now they're like a green and white. There's also a newspaper stand right to the left and a Fight Back billboard where this billboard is today. The only thing that's not changed are the buildings behind it. You can make out this building down the street, and all the way down Broadway there. This is where the subway ghost entered the street. Of course, you have the taxi cab ghost and Slimer in that montage as well. All right, night has fallen. Check this out. The filming location. One of my favorite scenes in Ghostbusters, when Ray and Winston are in the Ecto-1 crossing the Manhattan Bridge. One of the best lines, Judgment Day. Really love that speech. Right before all heck breaks loose in New York City. It was a helicopter shot. They were flying the helicopter like bridge level, and they were getting them driving the Ecto right across the Manhattan Bridge. You can see a bit of the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. We're about to head to Los Angeles. Actually, a little Tampa J movie magic, and you already know if you've seen the video. I was already there a couple months ago. So what I decided to do was to throw that footage into this video. New York and LA, all in 2024, 40 years later. June 8th, 1984 is when Ghostbusters premiered. All right, I want to make sure I capture my reaction real time. Now on East 5th Street here in Skid Row. The old fire station number 23. The interior scenes to Ghostbusters. That station is right there. Your destination is on the right. Holy cow. Man, it looks like the door's open. Yes. And we have arrived on foot across from Ghostbusters HQ LA, right here in Skid Row. The address is right there, 225 East 5th Street. Now, we've been to the Ghostbusters HQ in New York, of course. Both fire stations were built in 1912, the one here and the one back in Tribeca. So it was very easy to make this look like a practical location to fit the fire station for New York. I can't believe I'm finally freaking here. The door's open. It's totally changed inside, but we're gonna go take a look. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh wow, there's the staircase back there.
Yeah.
So that's where, yeah, I'm thinking of the movie. I'm a huge fan. I believe that's where Ray Stantz came down the old fire poles there.
Yeah, you see the stacks right there coming up?
Yeah, the fire chutes. You could still make out some of the wall. Oh, and the woodwork used to be there. There's the frame.
Everything's, you can see that's all the green tile.
Okay.
Right here?
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh, there's some of the green tile.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's amazing.
And you have some of the doors right behind the wood back there.
Okay.
All the stuff that's historic, it's at 7th Street, locked up.
Okay, so they saved some of that original stuff to bring back in.
Back where the boxes is right there where the plywood is. Remember the horse stalls? There's some horse stalls way before. I don't think that was in the Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff.
No, yeah, 1912. That's what I read.
Yep.
Oh wow, so that's the staircase that Dan Aykroyd runs up. Hey, let me go get my stuff. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So the office was, I didn't realize there was 2 doors. There was an office back there.
Right.
Is there a basement in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they filmed the movie down there.
Right down the stairway, you go around.
Containment.
Where that water jug is, you go right down there. I can't let you go, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I really appreciate you letting me come in this far. Just this is my favorite movie of all time. It's amazing to be in here right now. I'm trying to keep it together. Whoa.
You know what I mean?
The original doors that you see them come in and out of, the Ecto-1. Dana Barrett walking through this door, Sigourney Weaver, when she comes to see the Ghostbusters. That's the door. I'm gonna put screenshots in the lower right hand corner. The Ecto-1 coming through, parked right here. Dan Aykroyd, Ray Stantz working on it. Janine's desk down there. I am trying to hold it together right now. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I made your day.
You made my day. I came all the way from Florida.
Just to see this?
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be in here.
This was just part of the movie. You know, they did a lot of it in New York.
New York, and I've been to those locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish we had more up for you to see what's going to be.
You know what? I'll be back.
Yeah, come back
when it's restored.
I'll be right where the restrooms are. We're putting an elevator going all the way up. We're going to have elevators now. It's going to be really good, but they're going to try to keep most of it historic. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, I'll look forward to it. Is there an opening date?
No, I can't.
Nah.
They've been on this.
Might be a couple years.
They've been on this already 4 years, believe it or not.
Wow.
You know, since it's historic, it takes a lot longer. You know what I mean?
Right. What a treat. Oh my gosh.
I'm glad you're happy.
Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
my friend. It's gonna be hard to top this moment.
Come back and you're gonna see it.
I'll be back for sure.
If I'm here, or if my guy's here. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look you up. I got inside the freaking Ghostbusters firehouse. I want to thank that person so much. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but he was so kind. He actually works for the city of Los Angeles, and he said that they will be restoring this, and it will be back, and we'll be back to see it restored to what it looked like during the time of the film. I didn't expect to get in there. Wow. They also filmed Ghostbusters 2 inside here as well. The little kids party with young Jason Reitman. Hey, I thought they were gonna be He-Man. They actually made that scene up there. That was the party scene. They cut from the door that I showed in my Ghostbusters 2 video a few years back. They cut from that door and started filming the interior scenes back up in Station 23. Just wanted to throw that in here. They've used this multiple times over the years as well. If you remember The Mask, I believe 1994, Stanley Ipkiss, Jim Carrey dropped his car off here. If you watch that movie, the car garage, if you look in the background, it's the Ghostbusters HQ. It's the same filming location. And now several blocks down the street, downtown LA, 506th South Grand Avenue, the address of the Los Angeles Biltmore Hotel, aka the Sedgwick Hotel from Ghostbusters. No, that was not in New York City. The hotel scenes, the Ghostbusters' first call, was filmed right here in LA. The lobby and the ballroom scene when they're capturing their first ghost, aka Slimer, that was all filmed here. All right, now right across from the Biltmore Hotel, this is 5th Street. Over there is where we just were, in the square. This door right here is where the Ghostbusters enter the Sedgwick Hotel. All right, so pay attention to this screenshot. The Ecto-1 coming up to the curve before the Biltmore. Notice the golden doors in the doorway are open. You've got the 3 windows, the skylights, the awning, and then those giant windows behind the Ecto-1 up and to the left. All of that, and now here we are today, filming over to the exact spot where the Ghostbusters came to the hotel. Down there in the lower right-hand corner. Holy crap. Venkman, Spangler, and stands right through those doors. This moment right here. Whoa! Okay, let's go see if we can find that. All right, so this is where they walked in. On the font, right there on the window, the font says, please use main entrance on Grand Avenue. So I have to come around to get inside the Biltmore. But this is where they walked in. You don't really see them come in this angle, but that's the door. Hoping to get inside. And oh my gosh, okay, there's a lot of people, some sort of an event going on. Here I am, right there. Now inside, that is where the Ghostbusters walk through. Bear with me on the lighting, very dim. So they come right through the doors and then they walk, meet the concierge about right here. You don't see this angle. The camera is kind of in front of them and follows their walk face forward down this hallway into the elevator. Oh my gosh, this is so cool to be here. Right there, Murray Ackroyd and rest his soul, Ramus. Here you go. Okay, I'm trying to do this then and now right here. Check it out. I'll put it into frame. They have met up with the concierge. Nothing has changed in here. This is a very historic and beautiful hotel. What are you guys supposed to be? Some kind of a cosmonaut? I am about to lose myself right here. Ghostbusters would have came to the elevators right here. This is when they run into the gentleman smoking the cigar. What are you supposed to be? Some kind of a cosmonaut? We're exterminators. Someone saw a cockroach up on 12. That's gotta be some cockroach. It'll bite your head off, man. This is exactly where that went down. More movie magic for you. They made it look like there was not a lobby through the other side of this opening. They put a drape there, they put a little table and a little lamp, but they filmed that right here. This is the iconic elevator spot with the guy smoking the cigar and the Ghostbusters as they're about ready to go up. And they didn't really film those scenes inside the Biltmore. They didn't film the Slimer scene, that he slimed me scene, those scenes, those hallway scenes, those were built on a set, so they didn't film those here. Also, when the lady gets blasted with the proton pack, the cleaning lady, that reaction was real. They blew up that cart for the effect and they didn't tell her. And that reaction in the movie was real. What the hell are you doing? They didn't film that here either, that was a set. Also, when they actually get in the elevator, it's not the actual elevators here. See the walls behind them in the elevator? This is when they actually turn on the proton pack. This is actually a set elevator, because if you look at the elevators here, see what I mean? All right, maybe we should go ahead and switch these things on. Going up. I just hit a random floor. I love this thing. Got a licensed nuclear accelerator on our back. Ooh. Yeah, as you can see, they didn't film that in these elevators. And now on the 4th floor of the Biltmore, as you can see, the hallways are much different than they are in the movies. Kind of similar though. Come in, Ray. He's right here, Ray. He's looking at me. But they wanted us to think that they were on the 4th floor, because if you see this room number right by Slimer, room 433. So I'm gonna go to 433 and see if anything matches up. But I did overhear Ivan Reitman say on commentary that they built these hallways on a set. It's still cool to be on the 4th floor. And on the 4th floor, they're embracing filming locations down here at the Biltmore. That's a scene from Mad Men. Filmed right in the lobby. Okay, so that's 433 right there. Someone's cleaning the room. Hey, what the hell are you doing? So, if this screenshot was legit, if they really filmed it here, here you go. Slimer coming at Venkman. 433. If it was filmed here, much has changed. That's so cool. I know it wasn't filmed here, but it's still cool. So if it was actually filmed here, about right down here is where Venkman got slimed. That's great. Actual physical contact. And there it is. I knew they had to have it. Ghostbusters 1984. That's them coming in the hotel right downstairs. Also the same year as Ghostbusters and Beverly Hills Cop, filmed here, Splash. Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks. I didn't know that. What? Pretty in Pink? I did not know that. They filmed a lot here. There are pictures all the way down these walls of movies that were filmed here. All right, going down. Back to the lobby to try to find the ballroom. Don't cross the streams moment. That was actually filmed here in the hotel. So now back in the lobby. Those doors right down there are the doors the Ghostbusters came into. So when the Ghostbusters go into the ballroom and find Slimer, when they cross the streams, the first trapping of a ghost happens. That was in the former Millennial Ballroom, which is now the hotel lobby, which is right here. That ballroom has been converted to the lobby. This is the doorway you saw the Ghostbusters come in and out of after they trapped the ghost. They had the trap, and they told the concierge if they didn't pay up, if he didn't pay up, he could put it right back in there. That all happened right here. We're gonna walk in the room and match up the ceiling. Wow, okay. This is where it happened. Don't cross the streams was said right here. Okay, so the door was just to my right. Here we are. The front desk to the lobby is on the back wall. You see it there? That was the same location as the buffet bar in the Millennium Ballroom. If you look at the crown molding, the ceilings, the tile, everything matches up. The flowers were still standing. Oh my gosh. I think I see where that table was when Venkman rips the tablecloth. That's one of my favorite lines, by the way. That was all here, man. And the trap right in the center of the room. Got the screenshot in the lower right hand corner to show you what's going on here. Holy cow. This is it. Freaking Slimer. Notice the crown molding to the left behind him as he's chugging that bottle. Looky here. Slimer. Now that wasn't this wall. It's symmetrical. It was behind the front desk over here to the left, the actual spot. Yeah, so right there. This was the buffet. This is where the table was, all the food. The tables they turned over. Slimer in that shot. Like right there. That's so cool. Oh man, I'm losing my mind. This is amazing. And here he is. I miss him so much. Dr. Egon Spangler, writer of Ghostbusters himself, co-writer with Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. And he's launching for the first time the proton pack. Look behind him. You see this lion right there? That sculpture? Check this out. He's standing right here, right in front of the main lobby desk. You can clearly see that behind him in the background there. See those two lines between the proton beam? Right here. And the lion, right there in the right hand corner. because of the walls haven't changed, I could literally match up every millisecond of each of the scenes in here. Check out the crown molding in the corner over there. So that is right there. So the table that Venkman pulls the tablecloth off because it's like right before him there, it was right here. The flowers are still standing. Right here. Watch this. The flowers are still standing. And there goes the trap. The chandeliers are gone because it's no longer a ballroom. But Slimer right there before the glass. Look at this. Right there. Slimer in the screenshot. And here's a screenshot. The widest angle you see of the front doors of the Millennium Ballroom. Notice the two angels before the woodwork of the doors. There's the concierge. Check this out. Here you go. Doors are gone, but that was right here. And also, I can put that thing right back in there. And Bill Murray's one of his most famous lines. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Almost want to say it just because I'm right here. I think I get to say it right. We came, we saw. I also love this guy's expression over here in the far right corner when Bill Murray says that line. He's like, what did he just say? And look at this. This is cool. I can pinpoint where he was standing. Look at the pattern behind him. That guy was standing right here. You can see that flower kind of behind him too, as Bill Murray was coming out the former door here. Millennium Ballroom, now the lobby. Also, I have to add this. When the guy backs away, the opposite shot from out the door, you can see this. Right behind him to the left. Who liked that guy's character? I love that guy. He's awesome. He's been in a couple other things. I think he may have been in Trading Places or another Dan Aykroyd movie. I can't place it, but I've definitely seen him in a few things in the 80s. And also, they revised his role in Ghostbusters, the video game. And somewhere inside the Biltmore here, the staircase where they filmed this scene, a little ways up, that's a painting. They made it look like there was 22 floors, as there was back in New York in the fictitious Spook Central. That was filmed right here in the Biltmore as well. The Sedgwick Hotel from the Ghostbusters. That was incredible. So far, this has been a great morning. We're gonna head to the next and last filming location as far as Ghostbusters here in downtown LA. It's actually just a block away. Forget I said a block away. It's actually right across the street. The Los Angeles Public Library. No, this isn't 5th and 42nd back in New York. That served as the exterior library from Ghostbusters. We've shown that many of times before, but this was the interior. 630 West 5th Street. So the interior scenes, when we see a ghost for the first time in Ghostbusters, the get her scene, the symmetrical book stacking, the ectoplasmic residue, in the basement, when you see the lady get scared by the ghost in the beginning, those scenes were filmed here, not the scenes that you see Egon Spengler for the first time, the Ghostbusters meeting up with him. That is actually the New York Public Library. But the scenes where the ghost, the get her scene, those were filmed in the basement of this library. And because I am here on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day everyone, the library is closed. Now, that's all right, because there is no way we're going to be able to see or match anything up. Where that was filmed in the basement is currently an office. It is off limits to the public. We could probably get special permission to get down there. Not today, obviously. Maybe we'll come back another time. But that area has changed. There was a fire in that portion of the library several years ago, and it burned up all the books, and everything you see down there is gone, and it's been gutted. It's being rearranged. So we are not going to be able to see that location. It's completely changed. I am just thrilled that I got inside the actual Ghostbusters HQ today and was able to match up some screenshots in the Biltmore. I didn't expect at least 75% of what you saw in this video today, so I am completely shocked. And welcome back to New York City. I think it's safe to say, as far as Ghostbusters filming locations, my all-time favorite movie, I think I came, I saw, I kicked their ass. I'm trying not to get emotional. I've always wanted to do that. Thank you guys for watching. If you're a fan of Ghostbusters, please give it a thumbs up. If you're a fan of filming locations, movies, New York, whatever it is, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me to the end. Please give me a thumbs up. Please feel free to share the video. Also, if it was your first time here, make sure you subscribe below, and also check out more of my Ghostbusters content across my channel years back. I've been making this stuff for a long time. I remember the first time I came out here in 2013, didn't have a YouTube channel. I was so freaking happy. I didn't have a worry in the world just seeing this, although I had many at that time. So cool. All right, guys. Know you're awesome, know you're loved, and no matter who you are, what you're going through, just know that there's always much ahead. I am Tampa J. I love the Ghostbusters. Thanks for sticking to the end. We're ready to believe you. I believe you. Who are you gonna call? And just as I did 5 years ago, I brought my copy of Ghostbusters 2 with me for those filming locations. I've got my copy of Ghostbusters that I watched when I was a kid. I had to bring it back. Or 2. The firehouse. With the sign. Who knew 40 years later I would bring this here. Put it there with the building. That's so cool. I'm gonna take some pictures with it. But yeah, this is the most watched copy of Ghostbusters I have. There was one before it, but it was recorded by my dad. But this is the most watched. I recently shared it. I put it into this jacket. This isn't my original jacket, I lost it. But I put it into that fresher sleeve, but this is the tape that I watched my whole life. It doesn't even work anymore. That's how much I watched it. And you almost never see this angle of the firehouse in Ghostbusters. Let's just show you this alley back here, in case you were curious what it looked like. It's just a side alley. Looks like there's a truck in there. Probably belongs to a firefighter. This is the angle you don't see. So many people coming and going. I've been out here for an hour. I've seen hundreds of people. So awesome.